Over the past year, I've spent over 1,500 hours building in Minecraft to do one thing: build the greatest Minecraft world of all time. We're 7 cities in, got a big castle, epic dragon, blah 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 blah. Forget about all those, because today's project is bigger and better than all of those cities combined. Because today, I'm gonna build the best Minecraft steampunk city you've ever seen in your whole freaking life. First, I'm gonna wanna mark out the full area. Yeah, I think this'll be enough room. I know it seems like overkill, but I've got a plan. The center's gonna have a river, and each side of it's gonna have a palace and a respective village. The river that runs alongside the village leads to a gigantic circular portal. I'm remaking the world from a book that I wrote back in college, and in that world, this city is a major trade hub, so ships are gonna need a faster way to travel. I'm gonna have a shape similar to this image: layer veneer stone bricks. There's gotta be a command that'll do this automatically, right? Nope. What even is this? I guess commands can't solve everything. Looks like I only have one choice: an overly complex plan that tests me not only as a gamer, but as an artist. A plan that will have me stare into the face of God himself and say,
No. There's definitely a command for that.
huh?
Right, here, I'll go do some digging, take some time off, it'll be good for you.
But my quest.
Trust me.
Alright, I guess. I'm bored. Step 1, get the general shape and size in-game. Take a screenshot from above, put it into a photo editor, overlay the veneer brick texture onto the shape, and then color in the squares. Step 4, convert that image into pixel art using an online converter, bring it back in-game. After cleaning up this schematic, I separate each color and raise them up to individual heights using this tool, Go Brush. It's typically used to make mountains really quickly, but it works here too. Then I combine all the colors together, rotate it so it's upright, and I'm ready to color. Create 6 individual color discs and then project them onto their respective colors. Once we have the colors in place, we're done. Easy peasy. Not really. No, that was pretty hard. Okay, we've got our portal, but now we need a place to put it. I really like the noise patterns that I found earlier, and since the ring took so long, I think I'm gonna do a quick command to just get a basic level of terrain. Then I'll just do some blending and get a rough idea of the river. Oh, there we go, we're good. Kind of flat though. Alright, to fix that, I'm gonna do the same command off to the side, but I'm gonna tweak the settings so that it generates a lot taller cliffs. From there, I'll take my favorite ones and plop them into the terrain. And of course, we're gonna put the ring in so we have an idea of the area's flow. I'll put in a couple more islands, but I think these ones are gonna be floating because it's magic, you know, why not? We don't have to deal with physics here. Oh dang, this is a really gigantic area. I hope I don't crash this server trying to texture this thing. Yeah, I crashed it. Twice. But after a few solid hours and a couple server restarts, I got the terrain stenciled, textured, and then I put in some moss. Look at this, I don't even know how to describe it. And look over at the ring, it almost looks metallic, especially with the shaders on. Oh, it's perfect. It still feels like it's missing something though. Maybe looking at some past terrain will help. Too grassy, too colorful. Oh, Runic terrain is common throughout the map because this world is filled with magic. The runes indicate a naturally occurring magical hotspot, and in a world where magic equals power, settlers are like, ooh, let's build on that. Look at this, holy cow. They definitely helped tie it all together. It looks so cool. I think we can move on to the buildings now. I'm gonna start off with shaping the main palace, which is the biggest part of this project. This entire city is called Brassholt, and it's the biggest city on the entire continent. It sits right here in the nation of Alphalam, home to the Alphas. And yes, I understand that there's different connotations for what those mean, but in this world, it's interpreted as the beginning. The Alphas are the ones that control everything in this world, but their control doesn't come through sheer force. It's fueled by 3 things: wealth, status, and power. That's where this structure comes in. What I'm building isn't really a palace, it's actually called the Bank of Brassholt. Sure, this bank acts as the treasury for the Alphalam Empire, but it has a much more important role. It's the nerve center of a shadow organization that pulls the strings of the world's politics, economies, and militaries. The Order of Coin and Cloak. Pretty cool, right? And it took me 3 days to come up with that name. We'll dive deeper into that a little bit later, but I gotta get this thing built first, which is freaking impossible right now. -1, I don't even know how that's possible. It wasn't the server's fault. I built on the bakery server, one of the top building servers in the world. Our developers had just beefed up the server so that it could even handle my commands. Unfortunately, that meant that it was a problem with my internet, which meant that there was nothing I could do but wait. The next day my internet finished crapping its pants and I was able to finish shaping and get the basic colors in place. But right now the terrain's in the way, so I'm gonna move the building outside of it so I don't mess anything up down there. And wow, okay, the terrain definitely made it feel smaller than it actually is. To put it into perspective, the largest generated vanilla structures are the Ocean Monument, the End City, and the Woodland Mansion. They can feel gigantic when you come across them in game. But next to this thing, I mean, look at them. They're just little guys. With the shaping all done, we can move on to the fun part, detailing. I want to make sure that this Minecraft build doesn't look like a Minecraft build. That means putting stairs, slabs, trapdoors, fence gates, a bunch of other blocks to give the illusion that the build isn't made of blocks. But just simply including the blocks isn't enough. It takes technique. Disappointing, I know, but that's the truth of it. Let me show you what I mean. See, this is considered a polycurve because it has some straight edges that turn it into a polygon instead of a circle. That's bad. It should look more like this. Problem is, I'm not really great at those, so it takes me a long time to do it. And in this build, there's a lot of circles. Like a lot. Why did I do so many circles? And yeah, we could just skip through all the boring footage, but I have a better idea. Montage.
Still pretty poly.
I know. It wasn't easy, and they aren't all perfect, but after about 12 hours, I had a full library of circles to work with. All I had to do now was paste them into the build. That really doesn't look like I added much, does it? Oh, well, that's 24 hours I'm never gonna get back. With all those circles done, I can finally go around and do the rest of it. I know it doesn't really look like I'm adding a lot, but the detailing alone for this one structure took 40 hours of work. To some, it might seem silly to put this much effort into a build, but that extra effort is what turns a build from good to great. And after adding in all the gears, I can finally paste it back into the terrain. Yeah, that was time well spent. And now that that's done, we can go and work on the inside. This is the main hall of the bank, so we're gonna split it right down the middle. Up front's where the clients are gonna talk to bank representatives, and back here they're gonna have high security vault that keeps the majority of the treasure. Normally, the interiors are done by my friend Achilles, but after starting on the walls, they came to me with some pretty bleak news.
I have to get a real life job, real life job, real life job, real life job. Calm down, you big baby. I can still do a couple. Just not right now.
Fine, I'll do it. First things first, I'm gonna build a vault door. Thankfully, all the circle building practice and gear assets came in handy here, and in a couple hours, I was able to knock out a pretty snazzy looking vault door. After renovating the floor, I split the hall into individual bank teller stations and decorated them with some office furniture. They're kind of like fancy cubicles. After that, I added in the main reception desk and some chandelier designs up high. Yeah, not too bad for someone who doesn't do interiors, right?
It's alright, I guess.
What are you even doing here? Don't you have like real life stuff to do?
It's nighttime. Some of us have work-life balance.
Ooh, brag about it. But after they were done heckling me, Achilles got started on the bank vault.
Gears of varying sizes adorn the walls, sealing the individual vaults that belong to the most prestigious names in all of Alphalam. Sunken into the ground is the top security vault chamber. Only the rarest of treasures and most powerful artifacts are stored here. Bars of enchanted Secrolon steel crisscross above, keeping the bounty safe from wandering hands and scheming minds.
These interiors are what you'd expect in a bank. Remember, the Bank of Brassholt harbors the most powerful shadow organization in the world. The Order of Coin and Cloak is separated into 3 factions: merchants, politics, and assassins. This castle is going to have rooms dedicated to each one of these, but we're kinda out of space right now. I gotta build the rest of it. The plan is to have gold spiky towers behind the main build. I'm drawing some inspiration from the MCU's interpretation of Asgard, and I'm gonna mix in a little bit of Piltover from Arcane. But the main hall took me 5 days just to do the exterior. I wanna finish this before I'm dead, so I'm taking parts of it and recycling them into new sections of the castle. Alright, look at that. 1 full day of work and I've got a bunch of assets to paste in. It's literally taking every bone in my body to resist pasting these in right now, but if I get started now, I'll just end up making a huge mess that'll take a lot longer to clean up. Better wait till tomorrow, which is right now. Magic of editing. I originally wanted to get both sides of the river done for this video, but this side alone took me a month to build. So I'm gonna split the city into 2 videos. The Cloud Render District will be tackled next time. I love getting your ideas for what to do, so if you have any ideas for the lore or the build, feel free to write them in the comments below. Alright, this is looking sweet, but I don't know about some of these interiors back here. They're pretty confusing. Well, maybe that's a good thing. Once I finish all of the main cities in this world, I'll be turning it into a mega adventure map. With that in mind, this is a bank, and banks have security systems. Maybe the unfurnished interiors can be turned into a network of dungeons that the players have to clear in order to get certain rewards. Or maybe I'm just trying to justify laziness. Either way, I'm not going to get all of these done today, but I am going to do quite a bit. Whoa, too close. Located directly above Brasshold's vault is the council room. This is the main gathering spot of the Politic faction, who are the leaders of the Order of Coin and Cloak. Members of this faction spend their time studying the world and how to best manipulate it. In the center of the room lies a sprawling war table, where the highest ranking members can pull the strings of the continent. The walls are lined with private meeting rooms where members can quickly and discreetly strategize with other power players. Of course, the main weapon of this faction is information. Located in one of the most secure places in the entire castle, the contents of the faction library are worth more than the contents of the vault, 10 times over. The first level is surface level stuff, in-depth historical information to educate budding aristocrats. But as one explores deeper, they'll find more and more powerful secrets. Locations to rare artifacts, the inner workings of enemy organizations, the list goes on and on. This is the most highly guarded room in the entire city. After I got those interiors done, it was time for me to move on to the village. This might seem a little big for, a village house, but this house is where I established the style for the whole village. I want to have around 30 unique houses here, so saving time is going to be crucial. Alright, that's a pretty good start. This is where the size of the house comes in handy. To save time, I'm going to be recycling parts of this house to make new ones. The first one took around 9 hours to finish, but now I can use a lot of commands to speed up the process. Unfortunately, I was on a time crunch. Halfway into making the town, I had to fly across the country for a week for Thanksgiving. I had my laptop, but I was so busy that I wasn't able to get much building done at all. Surrounded by loving friends and family and mountains of food, not having to lift a finger, I felt like a loser. I have virtual houses to build, man, come on. Just kidding, moms, for the content, I love you and Thanksgiving dinner was very good, you're the best. She watches. When I had the time, I'd do some work on the town, but the main thing I could accomplish was prep work for the interiors. They were all planned and prepped, but I wasn't able to get any more than the framework down. They just have to sit unfinished until I got back home. At least, that's what I thought. One of my friends decided to take matters into his own hands.
Some unfinished interiors I see. Oh, and detailed notes and sketches on how they're supposed to look? Don't mind if I do.
Above the entire exchange, an enchanted holographic stock ticker showcases real-time market data and its fluctuations. More screens line the sides so that traders can keep an eye on market shifts with ease. It doesn't have the actual data, but come on, work with me guys, use a little bit of imagination. Filling the entire floor are workstations where stock traders conduct their business and influence the global economy. This is the most influential room in the world for trade and commerce.
Alright, go me. Well, I guess it couldn't hurt if I did just one more.
Above the stock exchange is the auction house. The Bank of Brassholt is also a school that educates the wealthiest students in the world. Instead of wasting their time on sports, the university's main athletic activity is auctioneering. Because, auctions are pretty much just a money fight. It's their version of UFC.
Okay, what's next?
Rail?
Hey, you're back.
What you doing here, bud?
Community service?
Alright, keep going, I guess. Show me what you got so far, though.
This is the merchant dorms.
Whoa.
When you enter, they all have their own rooms. So as you can see, only one bed.
Nice.
They have to have 2 floors because why not? One floor is two.
One floor is for poor
people, exactly. So some art here, perfect art.
Masterpieces.
Those are like really expensive. Like
how much did those cost?
Like $1 gazillion, maybe.
Yeah, I don't understand art.
Who really does?
I was able to get a decent amount of houses done while I was away, but I don't have a ton of footage because my setup looked like this. And my gameplay looked like this. How did I do this for an entire year? But as soon as I got off that plane, I got right back into it. I was so excited that my hand was literally shaking. Or maybe it was the jet lag, I'm not gonna think about it. Not everyone in Brassholt lives in the main palace. It's home to people from all walks of life. The town is where merchants, engineers, and soldiers reside, hoping to make their fortune in a city of gold. Alright, that took, about 5 hours to get everything the way I like it, but look at this. It's beautiful. Don't look there, full. Yeah, I'm gonna need to clean these up. This is the not so fun part of the build. Sure, this is gonna make it look better, but I also make all of my builds available for download on Patreon. I want to make sure that the patrons don't download a huge mess. If you want to support or just want some builds, I'll put the link in the description for you. I try to make it a good deal, and you can cancel pretty much instantly after you get your downloads, so it's no commitment. If it weren't for my patrons, I literally couldn't afford to keep making this my job, so thank you. Okay, we got it all done. Now all we gotta do is texture the roads, slap on a quick coat of paint, and now we can knock another one off the list. Streets feel kinda empty though. It really feels like a ghost town. Let's check in with Achilles while I figure out what to do about that.
Although the other two Order factions are open only to insiders, the Assassin faction doesn't follow that rule. Warriors and spies from around the world are scouted by the Order and recruited into this faction based solely on merit. A new recruit's greatest proving ground is the training room. I built a large mechanized training dummy to occupy the center of the room for more rigorous exercises. Along the sides, I put some smaller training dummies for assassins to run drills and sharpen their fighting technique. Since this room is intended for combat, I wanted to keep a pretty open floor plan. Above was the armory, where I could really fill up the space. Unfortunately, when I got there, I saw that Shovel got bored with the town and moved on to it instead.
No, I just reprioritized. The Assassin faction has a wide selection of weapons to choose from. Some of the heavier fighters prefer enchanted mech suits like this. These suits are stored in the armory, along with the rest of the lethal equipment. Here is where the smiths, fletchers, and brewers all keep equipment in tip-top shape. Equipment rentals and private lockers offer members a secure and accessible place to keep their gear. After I got the armory done, Rail showed me around the assassin dorms.
These are the assassin dorms.
Whoa.
You really do a good job. Don't ask me how I know that. You have a little tinkering table over here.
Is this to cut up body parts?
That's for making sandwiches.
Oh, okay. From body parts?
This is their lounge room. So it's like grander, you know, if you like have to have an event or something. Public executions are really popular this time of year. So
They're like barn weddings in summer.
yeah, it's like really cozy when they do it here. This grand step here where nobody slips because there's good railings on here, you see? Oh!
So where did they hide the bodies? After Rail showed me the final interiors, I returned to the village to put some more life into it. I'm gonna make a bunch of street decorations, along with repurposing some of Achilles' designs that are just hanging around in some of the past builds. Also, my friend Clay Designs allowed me to use some of her smaller designs, since I tend to get a little carried away. This was supposed to be a bench. Now, is all this work necessary? Probably not, but one night I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole and ended up learning pretty much everything about Hayao Miyazaki, the creator of Studio Ghibli. He's renowned for his ability to make extremely fantastical settings feel real. The trick is in the details. Everything needs to have a purpose for being where it is. This is a place where people live their own unique lives, so I need to include the details to reflect that. And it was totally worth it. Look at this. Feels like I'm walking through a town from an RPG map. With the final interiors complete and the street decorations in place, it was finally time to take a step back and admire the full build. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, my favorite build to date, and I couldn't have done it alone. Huge thanks to Rail and Achilles for helping me out here. Thanks for watching.